been, I don't even know how long it's been. I think Spencer was the last one on. It was probably 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And let me just say this, unlike my little friend Terrence there, I don't have a dude sitting on the bed behind me. I don't know. I don't know if you saw that or not, but woo! That was an interesting look. How is everybody on this fabulous Sabbath day? Just waiting for. Let me invite my man. Where'd he go? Hang on as we.
Gotta do some adjustment.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Sitting outside.
I can see that.
Can you hear me okay?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Fabulous. How's that? How's the air quality down there? It doesn't look too bad today. It's not bad.
Pretty blue sky to me. Pool's looking good.
Pool's looking mint. So it's just New York and New Jersey that are bitching about it. Mostly.
Go piss up a road. I've had my fair share of smoke. So, yeah.
Piss up a
road. Make sure I get this thing because I got gotta get my plug in for turbo capacitors. I'm being capacitor right now, which is cool. Except for some other person in Pemberton thinks I keep talking about him every time I say turbo. I said it's not about you.
You know, my friend Turbs, literally, and he knows this because we've had the conversation. He's like a really big fish in a little tiny pond. That's why he gets away with the shit that he does, is because he's just this little tiny fish, or big fish in a little tiny pond. I told him to move to the big city or, an actual province that has people, and then see how it does.
Right.
I've lost you.
Oh, you lost me?
I lost your voice anyway.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I can now.
I can hear you.
I think I'm doing this right. It's been a while.
This is the second time I've only done this, so.
You said that before. Different circumstances.
Once with HVAC reefer guy, so. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you're busy. Things are going crazy out there.
We're staying really busy. AC season is like in full swing. It's been nuts. Can't complain. So, yeah, it's, we're busy. That's all I can say. I mean, 90% of everything we do is all service work. So, and we do a lot of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac stuff. So that's a lot of stuff we can't. Kind of like, certain jobs you can't post anything. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, so we get a lot of them, and we do a lot of rental properties, and don't really want to do a blast on the really bad rental properties because, can come back and bite you in the ass.
It's true. That's the problem with rentals. You never really know what your pricing is until you open up the walls, right?
Well,
and everybody wants an exact price. And
yeah, I mean, for the most part, most of our clients that we've had for years and years, they're really good. I mean, I got clients. One, he owns a bunch of properties. I think he's in Vietnam. And then we have one of our bigger clients. He's in Utah, but we take care of everything up here. One's in Arizona. So yeah, we take care of a lot of my clients don't even live here, and we just get emails, go fix it,
Yeah.
So yeah, and we went and fixed the restaurant. We didn't have to, deal with poop. We just had to fix the air conditioner. We got lunch made for us.
Listen, my boys got lunch out of that deal, out of that hotel. We had a ton of comments where people are like, dude, you got to shut off the water. I'm like, dude, it's a 30-story hotel building. And I promise you that out of the 500 shut-off valves they have in there for work. So you're just gonna have to grin and bear it and
Wing it. Wing it.
close your mouth. That's all. That's the only advice I gave both of them. Close your mouth. Don't look directly up the pipe. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, probably the oldest group of person that you probably had, because I'm 60.
I was saying that. Like I turned 50. I'm 53. You're 60. So we got 103 years on this freaking thing, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And, considering, so my dad I started basically just growing up doing it, and yeah, working for family is not the easiest thing. Trust me.
It's not.
No. Saturday, and he's like, "This is why I hate working with you." I'm like, "Well, sorry, I treat you like an employee, but it is what it is." But yeah, I'm doing this, so I don't know. You could count a lot of years. I mean, the furnaces that I worked on, they didn't have control boards. You literally had to figure it out, So I mean, gravity, and we are still one of the very few companies in my area that work on gravity furnaces. Two of my clients, they're from 1940s, and they will not get rid of them gravities. So,
yeah.
And which is kind of nice because Honeywell came out with a gas valve, so it basically bypasses your regulator and paso switches, which is really kind of nice. So you can kind of do a little bit of update on them, but there's still, they love them. We just had to take one out. And told the contractor, I said, I haven't seen one of these probably since I was like 10 years old. This one gravity furnace actually had a blower in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll have to send you pictures of it. But on the top, inside the top of it, it had a wheel, fan blade, and then a wheel on top, and then you had your motor mounted on the outside of the unit. So literally, it would circulate the air through the house. And there was very few. That was the second one I've seen in my lifetime. So
wow,
it was classic to see. Yeah.
So did it suck the air in and through the duct, or blow it out?
It out. So basically, instead of getting gravity heat, you would get a little bit of air movement.
A little tiny bit.
Not much.
Like an original, like one of those stupid grease fans on a
Yep.
on a restaurant, except that yours. Yeah, motor with a big fan belt.
So
big fan blade.
I've taught a couple people how to work on these things, and surprisingly, they're easy to work on because there's nothing to them. And
Yeah.
They're scared. They want to run. It's like, so it's funny. One lady that we got referred to, she had some guy come in there. He looked at it and he turned around. And he said, "I can't work on this," and walked out. So, it's not like oil. I grew up doing it.
That is part of the mentality these days, though, right? Is that if I can't replace it, then I can't fix it. Right?
Yeah. Grew up on gravity, boilers, oil heat, and God, do I hate oil heat, and I don't do it anymore. I will not touch an oil furnace. I smelt that smell way too much in my life. Much soot. No. I guys that still mess with it, I wave my hands with it no more.
Yeah. Thankfully, we don't have much of that up here because Alberta is such a natural gas heavy province that there's a few remote farms that have it, but honestly, we come across it once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
Here it's rural areas might have it, but it's just not even. The amount of the stuff that you have to carry, the transformers, the pumps, the nozzles, all the electrodes, all this. It's all this. You might as well just stock a truck just for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Boilers, because I was grandfathered in the main cities for boilers, and then the wonderful city said, "Oh no, you're going to have to go take all this test." I just said, "Bye." Doing this way too long. You grandfathered me in, now you're telling me no. It's all political, just to get money.
Yeah, it is. I talked about that the other day with permits, right? Where people are like, if you don't pull a permit, you're not you're not doing your customers a service. I'm like, listen, there's a time and place for all that stuff, and mostly in service, well, I don't pull that many permits.
Oh, I mean, we had to pull a permit because we do, one of our clients, we do a lot of stuff for handicapped people, and like the state will come in and they'll rehab the house for like an autistic child or whatever. So we do a lot of remodels for that, and we just had we had to do a rubber room.
A rubber room? That I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Is that like a bathroom that's all? We've done lots of those. What's a rubber room? Go ahead. Tell me what a rubber room is.
Like, but the kid go in there. He ain't punching through these walls. Yeah. Holes in the wall. I was like, because I'm like, there was supposed to be no electrical. Everything had to be up, and basically a rubber walls that were going to be in there. So he couldn't.
Really?
Oh, there was holes and doors with holes in this. I was like, yeah. I was just like, okay. Yeah.
That's gonna be a new. I don't know how I'm gonna use that, but I'm gonna use that in my, sometime this next week. I promise.
Rubber room.
Dude, you need a rubber room, man.
It's like
maybe we all need rubber rooms where you just go in there and just unleash hell, and then come out and say I didn't break nothing.
I know, because I'm like, as soon as we got there, I was reading the print when I got it, and I'm like, okay, no electrical in the walls, no this, no that, and then I'm like, such and such material being on the walls, and I'm like, so I was talking to the contractor. I was like, so is this like a padded room for the child? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's it is what it is, but it's kind of funny. Yeah.
The stuff you come across, I've never come across a rubber room, but I've certainly come across my fair share of dungeons over the years.
Yeah,
those sex dungeons.
Dungeon. Yeah, that would really seriously dungeon. Yeah, no, we did one that I don't know. It's some of the guys on here might have ever installed one, but it's basically a sensor for like the stove, and basically it's a timer, and it mounts above the cabinet by the stove, and so like if you stand in front of the stove, it knows that you're there. So if you walk away from the thing, it starts counting down and then kills the gas to this gas stove.
Really?
So it was. I had to watch a few YouTube videos. Okay, well, come on, guys, we're all gonna gather around and watch this. So yeah, it's great for like grandma or grandpa that live on their own. If with a walker, they're gonna cook something. They go to the bathroom, fall down, while the stove's gonna shut off.
Oh, okay.
This one was really unique. So what we ended up doing, so when I got there, it's like the gentleman's like, what are you here for? And I go, I'm going to install this. He goes, what does it do? And I told him, he goes, I don't want that in my house. Turned around, walked around, went right in the basement. I'm like, okay. Well, then she came up. And I'm like, what? Grabs the manual, reading it. So I go, so what's, I don't know the situation here. So I sat and listened to her about their 6-year-old son that is autistic. So the problem is he likes to break and turn the stove on, but they want a gas stove. They don't want electric. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I sat and explained to him, and she's like, no, I don't want this in my house. So she goes, if I go turn the stove on and they want to go sit in the other room while the oven's preheating, it's going to shut off. And I go, yep. And she goes, nope, I don't want it. So I said, well, let's talk about this and figure it out. I'm looking for pictures, see if I can pull it up. So what I came up with a very ingenious idea. I said it kind of falls on you guys now after this. I install this, that you have to turn the gas off. So I made a shut off that it turned out really, really cool, and they were like super happy. And so what we did is, if you look, I'll see if I can get this on here. See the shut off right above the stove?
Oh yeah.
It is, so when it's shut off, you can barely see it.
Oh yeah.
So then behind the stove, we made this manifold for the shut off, and we painted it and everything like that. So when the stove is in place, you just barely see that handle. So, and cool. I said, because autistic kids, as they get older, they're smarter than you think they are.
Yeah.
if he's noticing you up there turning that on and off, I said, what you can do is just take a crescent wrench and take this handle off. And he goes, oh, I can do that. The homeowner did. So, I mean, these are things that we have to sometimes look outside the box, even though these manufacturers have the solution, but sometimes that solution always isn't there. So,
Yeah.
years that I've been doing it, and I mean, we got a big from the state. They came back. I guess they took these pictures we sent them, and they took it to all these people, and they're going to start incorporating this situation of what I did, in other areas of that can be done. So I mean, it's just when you do stuff for so long, you kind of can look outside the box of certain things to do. It's not just a cut and dry. Oh, this is what we got to put in. That's it. Well,
Yeah.
let's bounce this.
Let's think about it. Yeah, that's how you prove your whatever you want to call it, your worth, your savvy, your whatever. If you can come up with something that's a unique solution to the unique problems, it's not everything's cookie cutter, right?
I've been down that road. Yeah, no, we don't do new construction. We used to do, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 homes a month, and when we got burned by $1,000, it was like, I'm done. So, I mean, we do want it, like if somebody's building one, comes and asks us, we'll do that, but we don't do the cookie cutter homes anymore. It's just, there's no money in it,
No. I don't know if there ever was. Like I say, I think my experience is the same as yours. You sort of start there to cut your teeth, I guess, and let somebody take advantage of you, for lack of a better word, because you're not, you don't have the panache to do what you really want to do, so you got to start somewhere.
Right.
And so those guys, take advantage of you until you smarten up and you get better at something else. It's sort of how it worked for me.
Growing up, I mean, Dad, we did service, and then we would do a house here and there, and it's like, and literally when I was 12 years old, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go to this service call. Here's where the duck's going. Put it up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
So literally you duck work up, and it's like you just did it, and
it's true. It's a different world, right? Because I've literally told people I've been doing this for 40 years, and I'm like, that makes you like 12. I'm like, yeah. It was like, here, we're running all the copper, we're ripping out the galvanized, and that was the upgrade when I was starting out. We're pulling out the galvanized pipe and we're putting in copper pipe, and start soldering all your joints, and make sure none of them leak.
Yeah, because I think mid 70s, everything had to be black iron, and then you could do like 10 feet of copper, and then it just gradually went from that, and then you could do copper from the meter all the way to a furnace. And I mean, some of the stuff back when I used to post a lot more stuff on jobs, it's like you get the guy from Kentucky or the guy from Omaha or whatever.
Right.
Like, what? It's when I hear other people talking, I'm like, it's like, here's a picture of the job we did. Well, that coupling should be here. That should be where. Where's the other coupling? I'm like, you're looking at photo. You're not here.
Yeah.
Send you 16 photos of my jobs. So yeah, it's
even if you did send them 16 to prove that you're right, they would still find like, oh no, you see that? That's a little crooked, man. You suck. You're a bad plumber. I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad plumber.
Yep. Yeah.
If that makes you feel better, just say I'm gonna go back to making money. That's what I'm gonna do.
Rob, what is he now? He's the angry midget with a plumber brain, or plumbing brain.
Yeah, whatever. that dude, like he is. I don't know if he has any friends left, because he has pissed off so many people. With like I don't know how to describe it. Like he disappears for like 3 months, and then he pops up again and just spits vitriol. Like he's obviously into something, booze, or he's having a bad time with his wife. I don't know what's going on, but he's got to unleash it somehow, and it showed up on Rob's page last week. So I don't know who's next, but He'll disappear for a couple of months, and then he'll be back calling everybody every
No,
freaking nasty name in the world just to make himself feel better. It's crazy, crazy.
it's a good comment. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, for this industry, for what I've done, it's I look at the tools now, and it's like, yeah, I can embrace some, but some I still kind of go, you guys just never knew what it was like to not have.
It's so, you know what the problem with that is I remember my grandfather telling me that, when I was like soldering, and they used to have, like I did one, maybe I might have done 4 or 5 lead joints, like on cast iron pipe, hub, lead and oakum. But that's how they did, that's how they did everything back then. And so when we started using like ABS and stuff, he's like, you boys never, you'll never appreciate what it's like to be a real plumber.
Yeah.
And now I'm driving down the road and saying, when they have all these crazy press tools and all the rest, I'm like, you guys have no idea. And I literally hear my grandfather in the back of my head saying that to me. I'm like, I've literally turned into him. You guys, you have no idea what it took to be a plumber 20 years ago.
I mean, I still, the shears with the 20-foot cord on it, because you didn't have the battery powered stuff. I mean, you had.
I remember, I have a core memory of working on a house, and the tin basher was there, and that dude had like tree roots for fingers, because and he had band-aids all over them, and he's cutting it with like just remember those big huge shears that you used to have? Like there was no, other than being long, there was no mechanical leverage to anything.
That's why why you have forearms.
Exactly right.
Because
You sit there and exactly. You put up your hands, big man. You literally have tree roots for fingers because you're like,
It's like when you're doing a house that has 15, 20 heats in it. It's like you got to cut every hole by hand. And Dad's forearms were bigger than mine, and literally he'd be like, "Aren't you done yet?
Yep.
Aren't you done yet?"
No.
My arm's ready to fall off.
I remember being like 22 years old, and my dad still be able to squeeze my finger. Like we would do the wrist challenge, and he would squeeze his fingers together, and I would beg for mercy.
My dad,
because his fingers were so strong. It was crazy.
Dad was the same way. 60 years old, we'd do it lock, and he's like, "You don't have the extra strength," and he just, and I'm like, "Jesus God," Yeah, it's nuts.
It's a real thing.
It's my cousin Tom. It's like we used to go down to Iowa and help him because he has in Arnold's Park, he has a plumbing company that's been around since '62, and so we would go down there, and Tom was just beefy farmer, and it's like literally, it's like here's the sawzall. Oh my God, Dad, it's like, where can I get a blade? Oh, I don't have any. Just use the one that's in there. You couldn't cut a freaking stick of butter with it.
So true. You'd go to the tin. We called them Rockwells up here when I was a kid, because that's who was the manufacturer of those saber saws. And you'd go to the huge tin box that was all dented, and you'd open it up, and there would literally be 15 like smooth ass blades, burnt, bent. Like you don't even have any blades, dude. This one here is still good. It's got one tooth. Better than none.
It does. I mean, that's just that you grew up that way. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, I look at all this stuff now, and I'm just going, it's nice, but man, it's like, it's tough for, it's like, man, you guys got it way too easy now. It's like way too easy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's certainly added to, like you say, I've had that conversation with people before. It's certainly allowed or widened the entry gate for people to get involved in the trades, because the tools are, like, there isn't really a physical barrier anymore like there was, back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And the tools and the materials that we use are the reasons for that, for sure.
When you installed the furnace back in the day, it was as tall as me.
Yep.
And it weighed more than me something. It's like, gee, and now you go in to tear these apart, and I'm going, God, I remember tearing these out, and I'm like, the steel chamber. You literally have to tear this whole furnace apart just to get the chamber out, because you can't more. know, and I don't know if they ever put it in Canada, but a lot of guys probably on here that wouldn't know what graduated ductwork is. So I look at, in graduated ductwork, it starts out, basically it starts out where it goes, and then it has a branch that goes off and another branch. So basically it's graduated as it goes down. Each one of those veins has a damper in it. So I look back at the guys that installed that, and I commend them because that's like, and they didn't have the zip screws like we did. They were Phillips heads, and it's like, but it's like to balance those systems out, and it's like we still run across them, and people want to do a basement finish, and they go, you really can't put much in here because you have this one supply going to that room only. You tap into that, now you just stole all half of that air from there, and they're you know, graduated ductwork is, you know, when that was put in, that was like a custom zone, all on its own. You know,
yeah. You see lots of that still up here with hydronic systems where they have like a one pipe system and use diverter tees and, you know, a gravity drain. Like it literally just, you know, the water heats up and goes to where you want it to go and cools off and, you know, comes back down with really nothing more than a burner.
No, and that's the whole thing. It's like you look at some of the old systems, it's like they were pretty basic, but they worked. It was nuts. And it's unbelievable how, you know, she knows. I know I gotta not read all these comments down.
I know.
Like,
well, I gotta get. I don't even know his first name yet. Plumber Tales. He's a bloke from, I think he's in London. Anyway, he's hilarious, and he's busting my chops about solder or solder. Turbo calls it solder just because he likes to piss me off, but it's solder. Let's get it right. And so we'll have to get him on here, and we'll yuck it up. It looks like he's been around for a while.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I got to figure out how to get rid of all these people on the top here. I was like, go away. Yeah, no, like I said, it's a great industry, and I know it now. I just went to a 2-day seminar, and the changes that are coming for the refrigerants and all that. It's, you know, what they're pushing. You know, I remember when it went from R12 to 22, and I remember Dad cringing, and, you know, and you embrace it, but it's like, I'm not liking where it's going now. You know, it
literally changes every 5 years now, doesn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
Like when did I'm obviously not that involved in it like you are, but like as far as I know, like 410A came out a decade ago, maybe a bit longer. And now they're getting rid of that thing with some newfangled, whatever it is, R47B or whatever I don't know. I actually saw one of our wholesalers, he had I should post it, but he had like 20 cans of R22. He's like, this is the last of it. This is liquid gold. And if you want to buy it, and I told the boys to pick up a couple of cans just for the sake of it, because like it's
Choice refrigerants out up there, and I don't know if you can get Choice refrigerant from Choice. They're out of Arizona, but they have a drop-in over for 22, and it's less than $400 a jug.
Oh, really? I do know, like you say, that they're making replacements for that stuff, which is awesome. But it wasn't like 10 years ago. You didn't have that option, right? Like it was. It's R22, and you. All we've got is 410A. You decide. You go tell your customer either replace the whole damn thing or that's it. Like that's your choices.
Well,
really.
I mean, with all the building that's going on, it's like all this R410. Right now, they do not have a drop-in to go over it yet. So with someone when their system completely takes a crap, or you can't, I can't, put it in because I can't get the refrigerant. Well, you got to get a whole new system. Really?
Yeah, you're gonna tell your customer it's for $7,000. Here's a brand new system for you, bud.
That's going. It's like and we had Johnson Controls. I mean, the COO of Johnson Controls literally telling us, it's like, if you got R410, hold on to it for yourself. What? I'm like, okay, I have a freaking bunker with refrigerant in it,
What?
Save it.
Like I was I was shocked. Like I say, it was this week that there was 20 of these bottles of R22. The big sign, liquid gold. Get them while they last. So.
It's between $1,200 and $1,800 here.
For a can, or to install them.
Yeah. So, and it's, I think, it all depends on where you're at. In the northern area, it's about $200 a pound. To down by the cities, it's like up to $500 a pound.
Yeah.
But it's like now the production for R410. So now what are you gonna, So that price is going up. So
I literally tell my customers, I'm like, we sell this stuff like we sell cocaine. It's by the ounce, and it's just as expensive.
Literally, it's like when somebody calls, we ask, it's like, how old is your condenser? And when they tell 90, I know if it's going to be 22 or 410, that, okay, here's the perimeters of what we're going to do. We'll come out on the service call, depending on how your system is. So you have an option. Either you're going to get a new system, or we'll see how low it is, and if you want to pay for it, and we can find a leak. And you
if I gotta add 8 pounds of this thing, you might as well get a new system.
Yeah. Typically, it's like when you're on the phone, when we're on the phone with them, it's if they're iced up, 90% of the time it's about a pound. It's about a pound when it's iced up. So there you go. So you tell someone it's going to be about $200 for that plus service call. And the point of it is, there's a lot of people, they just can't afford to buy a new system. So they're like, just gas it up. I mean, I literally have customers that for the past 2 years, takes about a pound and a half every year. And they're like, yep. Because their world's going to be like, we might be, owned by somebody else here shortly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The consolidation that happens way up top. And those guys that make those decisions, it's not like it's literally 3 dudes now, as opposed to 20 years ago, it was 42 dudes that were like, this is the direction that we're going to take our company, right? Yeah. And those guys that manufacture that stuff, like it's probably one guy now. This is what we want. This is where we're going to make the most money. So that's what we're gonna send out to the world, right?
Yeah, and the changes that they're doing, and the point it is, with the new refrigerant, you have to get all new gauges. You have to get different. It's the same thing. Oh, you can't mix. I have heard that some people have mixed up 22 and 410, and there has been a problem with the system.
Really? Have you ever done it? No?
Almost did it to one of my clients. I almost did it. I went to that one. It was probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I went to that one, and I looked at the thing, didn't see any pink sticker, nothing on. I'm like, grabbed my 22 gauges, went over there, and it's a little low. And then all of a sudden, I just happened to look at the tag, and I'm like, oh Jesus, yeah, I almost was putting 22 in that 410. I've heard a friend of mine, he's done it twice.
Really?
He hasn't had an issue. Yeah.
I was always told it's like putting gasoline in a diesel engine. Like, don't mess it up because things will explode.
The thing is like, okay, look at just like car refrigerant. They say you weren't supposed to mix it. People started mixing it, and nobody had any problems. So I know it's different because of the oils in the compressor. So I know there's issues of that way, but all in all, I don't know what it would really do, but I'm not going to do it to a customer and go, oh, sorry.
Hope for the best.
I deal with enough freaking manufacturer issues. I'm dealing with a manufacturer issue of ADP coil. It's basically a piss poor design, and I'm like dealing with reps and all the factory people, and nobody's getting back to us. So on the downflow application, the capillary tubes and the TXV, they're actually outside of the drip tray. So when the system's sweating, it comes and it's not going into the tray. It's going outside of the tray and going yeah. And I've sent them pictures, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll get back. Really?
They're just looking for someone to blame. They haven't found someone to blame yet.
Johnny that, freaking, just wants to get off on the meat raffle, forgot to put it in like tighter. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, but whatever. But I look at all these manufacturing issues, and people ask me what I promote. I don't promote one brand anymore, just for the fact that everybody has their own unique style. And then the point of it is, a customer, you tell them, hey, oh, Brian's the best. They go let their fingers do the walking, and then they go, well, Ray said this, and then,
Yeah.
but so I just like, because I used to be a premium Lennox dealer, and I just told Lennox bye. A lot of it was because of just the internal way they did things. It was just like, really.
Yeah.
So,
No, we were a Bryant dealer for a long time, but it was the same thing. You try and, obviously you're slanted to push that stuff because you've got you get a great deal on it and all the, affiliate support you get. But when it just sort of went sideways so quickly that we're like, you know what, we're out.
Yeah.
You want me to get something, because anybody will sell to you now, right? Like there's no longer that exclusivity where you have to be part of the club to buy a Lennox or whatever. I might not get the best deal, but
yeah, here it is. So like I can't certain ones I can't buy in my area because I got to be a dealer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
So like Lennox, I can't get unless I'm a dealer, Bryant or Carrier. But I can get this. I can get it, but it's like you have to literally be a dealer for these main manufacturers to get the top brand.
Even to service, like even to get parts?
No, get parts. No, to sell the equipment, you have to be a dealer.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, because we had, I don't know, back here I think probably 7 years ago, the U.S. Postal Service used to be geared by Bryant, and all the stuff used to be Bryant. And then, so I had 10 postal buildings that we were going to do new equipment in. Well, yeah. I couldn't get Bryant, so I'm like, I went to bid Lennox, So basically, yeah, we were going to do that. So it's just, yeah, because I couldn't get it. So like in my area where I'm at, there's like 4 companies, and so they constantly switch. So they're like, I left Lennox, so they took over the Lennox area here. But they were like Rude, they were like Carrier, they were like Daikin. So basically, they still are in there as a dealer. So they pretty much have this area just wrapped up that I can't get apart.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how it works. It's like in a certain radius at where you're at, it's like, oh no, you can't because so and so is a dealer. Okay, fine. I'll sell something else then. I don't care. Which is stupid. If you want to sell your equipment, sell your equipment.
Yeah, that's like we probably do, which is, nothing for you, but we probably do 20 or 30 furnaces a year. And I get them whatever they want. If the customer says, I want a Bryant, I want a Lennox, we obviously offer like the Lennox knockoffs like Armstrong and whatever the case may be. But I should ask them. Maybe they're just being nice to me. Because I'm like, this is what I want. They're like, yeah, okay, pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
we can get like the knockoffs. So like Bryant has their Pain, which is, you look at a regular Carrier, or you look at a regular Bryant furnace and a Pain furnace, they're pretty much the same thing. It's when you get into the 97% and all the variable speeds and all that. That's when all the internal guts is better, or their unique style. But to me, I look at these things and it's more problems to go wrong.
That's exactly what they are, right? You know that, right? Anybody that's been in this thing are like, yeah, 98% is fantastic, but you're going to get screwed on that because there's 98 things that can go wrong.
Yeah. Came out with, I forget what air conditioner it was. Well, the guy that installed it went out of business. So we went to service it, and I think it was me and Ryan that were on it. And we got there, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, literally, you could hook a solar panel up to this air conditioner. And I took the deal.
To run it?
Yeah, you you could have a solar panel off to it. It was crazy. I was like, what the? It was just came out, and I was like, and I forget how many years ago it was. Well, it had 2 control boards in it. Well, what happens in humidity in a high humid area like we are with control that's out on an air conditioner? Literally, luckily, we managed to get that board still under warranty through Lennox. Our cost alone was $449. That was 7 years ago for that board. And you know what board? It only ran the fan motor. That was it. It had another board. It had 2 control boards in it. Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, I've literally been thrown out of people's houses when I give them a price on a EN or ECM motor. Like, yeah, it's fried. I'm like, yeah, it's like $1,400. What the F? Get the hell out. And then they phoned me 2 days later and said, actually, you're the cheapest quote we got. I'm like, I know. Like, you could almost buy a new furnace for that freaking ECM motor that saves you. What does it save you? I don't know what it saves you. Like 25 cents a year, maybe? Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. It's the dumbest. I remember when we went to some deal and when them were first coming out, and I'm just like, we're all looking at each other going, we're in this thing listening to what they want to do, and we're like, this is the dumbest idea. So you want a DC head on a motor, that's going to fail. Oh, no, it's going to.
That's the beauty, right? And that's the only difference is they screw that stupid little cap on there. You can buy that separately, and hopefully the core is still good, but even if you buy it separately, it's a $900 freaking part.
We had to get one for a Lennox air handler, and of course, Lennox has this massive warehouse. They have all their little satellite stores, so we needed the DC head. Didn't have it here. Nope.
No.
Had to order hottest week in Minnesota, and that was 2 years ago. It was last year. Hottest week, and it took literally all week to get. But just for that DC head, because this air handler, you could get a motor to put on the DC head, but you can't interchange the DC head for the motor. You had to get the exact matchup for that motor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was $890 for that DC.
Just for the head.
I'm like, the dude's like, okay, yeah, what are you gonna?
Well, we had, just speaking of those delays, and it was over COVID, so whatever. But we went to go pick up some inducer motors for Bryan furnaces, and they're like, yeah, we have ordered we've ordered 400 of these that are supposed to be on our way. And the plant, wherever the plant was, literally has 20. I'm like, what do you mean? They have 20 for you? They're like, no, they have 20 for the entire effing world. I'm like, what are you? It'll be 6 months before you see this inducer motor. So we went back and soldered the circuit board back together and said, I hope it lasts until this, and it did. Like, by the grace of God in heaven, I don't know how it did. We found a little scorch mark in it, and we resoldered it and put it all back together, and it worked.
We started keeping parts, kind of like a junkyard.
That's what's all under here. There's nothing but parts off of furnaces that we replaced. Everything was still good. You know what I mean? The gas valve, the inducer motor.
It's like I put in a control board. One of my good clients, it's like, their son died, and their son was part of the machine shop of the business, and they just purchased 2. I think it was like one was 1.2 million and one was like $800,000 machines, and then he dies. So now Dad's got to flip the bill, and they need a new furnace. And I said, well, here's the thing, we'll try and keep your dinosaur going. And I said, I think it pulled a board out of a furnace, and it matched up. And they're like, oh, thank you. And it's like, you try and do what you can. And that's the thing. And I know some of these people on here, I don't know if they understand it, but it's like, not everybody's made of money,
Yeah.
My dad had taught me, it's like, I always ask people, where's your budget at? And I'll try and work with you the best I can. I mean, I need to make money, but I'm not going to gouge you.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I need to make a living, but it's like, not everybody's made of money. Because when people are like, well, why did you sell them this? Because they can't afford it.
No, then the next question is you need to get one of those finance companies that only charges them $39 a month for the next 37 years.
Yeah.
It's a great deal.
Yeah. When I was in the seminar for 2 days, there was a guy that was way north, and he signed up for the financing for this deal with them. And he said, I had to. In his area, he goes, I've lost 18 jobs because people can't afford it. And I'm like, if they can't afford it, how are they going to pay that bill?
That's the interesting thing about those finance companies, because it's not they pay you whatever you want. I mean, whatever negotiated rate you come up with, and then it's on their plate. And it must be just the fact of volume business where they're like, okay, well, whatever their actuary has come up with and says you're going to lose 12% of your contracts, which means you'll still make $100 million this year. All right, let's go. Right.
One company, my buddy, he's the CEO. He was the COO of that company, and they do $50,000 a month in financing.
Yeah.
For furnaces a month. That's insane. I mean,
it's insane. It's the VLT of the trade world, right? If you can get in on that stuff, I mean, we've looked at it, but that's not really our circles. You know what I mean? We don't do that much residential stuff, and most of the people we work for have budgets and deep pockets type of thing. So it is what it is. But
yeah,
I don't know if I could good conscience do that. It's crazy. Yeah. 50 grand and just financing alone.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. I'm like, he told me, I'm like, what? They go, I mean, we do some financing for people, but it's like most of our client, like I said, is service, and what we do for change outs, it's like most people can afford it. So, and it's like, yeah, but we've had to do it for some people, and we'll do it, but it is what it is. But you'll just go, okay, okay, whatever, but yeah.
And you're right. That's going to become a bigger and bigger factor, I think, as whatever happens with the economy, that people are just they're not going to have the funds just to fork it out and say, here you go, thanks very much.
Well, and like here, they're really, really starting to push heat pumps and mini splits.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's like, and I never forget when heat pumps came out in the 70s, it's like when they first were trying, Dad hated them then. And it's like, yep.
They try and do it up here as well. I'm like, dude, it won't work. When it's minus 42 up here, you ain't sucking no heat out of nothing. Yeah. You need a flame. I'm sorry. You need gas and a big effing flame. That's the only way it's going to work.
I mean, it's just, and some people are like, oh, they work great. No, I know they work great in certain circumstances. Yeah. Everywhere is different. I mean, you go down south, yeah, in certain times you only need it for this much. But up here, I mean, I can be 30, 40 below with a wind chill. Really, you think that's going to give me any heat? No. I'm going to have some other system, I mean, it works up to a certain point, and then it's going to be fine. But then it's like after that, it's like you got to have the backup, So
yeah. In fact, I might be speaking out of turn, but I'm pretty sure that if you mortgage your house, that they won't lend you the money unless you have a conventional furnace or boiler up here in your, if you can do a heat pump all you want, right. But if they're going to lend against your house, then you need to put in a conventional furnace or boiler. Wow. Because even they are like, no, man, it doesn't work. Please use it for as long as you want, but when it's minus 40 for 10 days, you're going to go down there and flick on your furnace or you're going to die. Or your house, or the house is going to freeze solid and it's going to be worth nothing. Yeah. Right?
And that was the whole thing. It's like when we had the foreclosure market here, when we were doing literally at the time when it was peak, we were doing probably 8 to 10 properties a day. It was insane.
Really?
Yeah, insane. It's like Well, and then all the people that were in charge of it up here, they lived in Texas, so they had no clue. So literally, you would have like icicles coming out of the walls outside because it would be just flooding, and
Awesome.
oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it's like you go in there and the people would be pissed off and they'd turn the water on, fill the tubs up, and it would just be, or they would say,
You know what they say about women scorned, but I think renter scorned is even a higher level of rage.
and the thing of it is, it's like I knew there was always a story behind why you lost your house. I mean, you just overextended your life.
Yeah.
It's kind of what, and it's like, and like when I would we would go to these things, we had such a high turnaround. Literally, the first thing we do is get out of a truck, go right to the gas meter. If it's locked, leave, take a picture and leave, because there's nothing we could do. So then we would once if that was in, then we'd go in and do the routine of checking everything out, and then we were constantly every day. And then, I mean, there were some of the little cities. I mean, I think one city they literally they had like 3,000 foreclosures in just their city. It was nuts. They had one city official just designated to go around and make sure that the grass was being mowed, there was heat on in the buildings. So we were rocking out houses left and right, man. It was like, sweet, I'm loving this. But I knew it was and that's when I had to let you guys go and stuff, because I knew I couldn't retain keeping them because we just didn't have the work, So and none of them didn't know how to do service. That is the hardest thing for us, is finding someone that knows how to do service. That's one of the biggest things.
It's the exact same here. I think it has to be the same everywhere, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Just because you look at those guys, like those service companies here, we've talked about it before, like Reliance and like the big ones, like their whole job is just to report and replace.
Yep.
Yeah, it's bad. We're going to replace it.
Yeah.
And that's what they consider their service. But yeah, it's a different game, and I think it's even more lucrative to actually provide the service, right? Because if you're dealing with an old system, eventually it'll need to be replaced. So you get to do both, right? Service something for 4 or 5 years, and then you're all right. We've milked this thing for all it's worth. It's time to rip it up.
We had one last Saturday because, so like here, people have, it's Service Plus in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
So the gas company, Service Plus, well, they don't give two craps about you. And you call up and it's 90 degrees out and you're old. Oh, we got asthma. I got 2 babies. They don't care. They're like, yeah, we're 30 weeks out. Sorry. That's when we'll get to you. So then we start getting a lot of residuals from that. So then we had one, and literally it was a house flip. They literally painted the air conditioner black to make it look nice. Black, and it's just baking. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, I told the lady, so I was there, I think Austin was with me, and it's like, so we went there and I said, yeah, your fan motor's gone. And I said, she goes, well, I have Service Plus. So she goes, just give me a price on it. She goes, I'll see where Service Plus is. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you what right now. This is an old system. It is R22. And I said, if they come out here, they're going to replace it. They will not fix it. But what? So then that's where we went back, put a new fan motor in, and good to go. I told her, I said, I would build like a half lattice fence right here to block the sun, at least get some shade on this thing. I hear yeah.
That's my favorite thing, when people paint their appliances to match whatever the hell they're doing. You're just like, dude, you realize you're basically voiding every warranty known to man.
Yeah. Literally, we had to like take sandpaper and just kind of like, okay, I think I can see the model number of this. I think, yep, there it is. And it's like, but it's, there are times that I think I see it all and have seen it all, and no, I always run across something.
We did a fitness center over the winter, and they had a bunch of units, just unit heaters hanging from the ceiling, and they painted them all black. Same thing, like the gas valves, the chimney, like everything. And of course, the chimney lasted however long, 30 days before it started peeling off. And you go up there and this whatever doesn't work. I'm like, dude, you painted your gas valve black. Like what? Like it's stuck. Like what are you guys doing?
I know they don't get it. It's yeah it, but it's amazing how But yeah, like Service Plus is it's kind of a joke here. People pay for that service and they don't care about you. It's funny. We get so
Yeah.
many of them, and and it's pretty good. It gives us business, so I don't really care. But
Yeah, you have maintenance 101 here that's saying that maintenance agreements are the way to go, and they are interesting. It's an interesting mechanism. We've tried to do that, but you really, uh, I mean, you're just paying, or they're paying you to retain you as a customer, and and I'm not, like I said, I don't think there's any value in it
no,
other than like you. If we were to do it, I would have to hire someone specifically to look after that end of things, to make sure that we're there every year, that we're doing what we said we were going to do, blah blah blah. And you would need what? How many people would you need? Like 1,500 in order to make that sort of worth your while.
well, and the funny thing is, like you just said, is to make sure that they do what they're doing. And every time that I have a customer and they go, well, we have so and so because they couldn't get there, so then we're like the other, so we get in there.
Yeah.
They're too busy. Okay. And it's like, well, we have a service agreement with them. And first thing I do to them, I go, well, do you know what they do for you? And the answer I get every time is, no, I don't know what they do.
Oh,
They have no
it's like it's like the cable bill, right? Like $49 a month. You're like, I don't know. I guess we can call them. They'll come.
clue. Do you watch what he does or what they do? No. Okay. I said, well, come here. And, back in the day when you had the 80% furnaces, yeah, you had that they needed more maintenance and clean out because you had the creosote and the stuff from the chimney and all that. But in all your newer furnaces, there's not
What do you service on that thing? Like, there's nothing. I don't know what you service other than change the filter, make sure that there isn't like a piece of toilet paper in the fan blower, maybe. Like, there's other than checking a few amp readings. I don't know what else you look at, to be honest.
you're going to pay $49.95 once a month to me. Yeah. Oh, I get it all the time, and I just like, I'm like, seriously, people, and they're like, wow, well, we didn't, and we've gone to them, and they're like, there's so much cotton on the condenser. It's like, well, they're supposed to clean it. Well, they didn't do it, but you're paying for their service that they're not,
Yeah.
So it is amazing because people just get in, get out. But like I said, I have guys that literally can go and install all day long, but if you want to send them out to do a service call, they don't know how to do it.
No, it's true.
And you see the guys that's like literally, you can make a fancy bend in the 90s and use, instead of an air conditioner, take a great picture for IG. Do you actually know how to do all that? That's not knocking on people, but I don't know. I just
No, it's true. I mean, it'll be interesting to see because I'm I'm certainly seeing a shift in sort of the, what shall we call it, the ambassadorship that's happening out there, where the what have you got there? Yeah, see,
a globe.
uh,
It's a fan. The mold.
there you go.
Yeah, so I'm a global.
Like it's a like so I've looked at it and you think, okay, so if you're, I don't know, let's pick on somebody big, so it doesn't matter. Like if you look at Rigid, what did they spend 20 years ago on their paper advertising and their magazine advertising and their display advertising? Probably, for easy numbers, let's just say a couple $1,000,000 a year to send that all out. And then they hope they get some return on that. And yet they can now, quote unquote, send some swag to, 20 quote unquote influencers. That costs them, we're up on an hour already. Does it come up with your little thing? I thought it did the 3-hour thing, but we'll let this time out, and then we'll keep going here for another 15 minutes or so. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just chilling.
It's crazy because freaking IG has changed their format uh, so many times. As you know, I Turbo and I did the freaking uh, longest IG of all time uh, at almost 3 hours, if I remember right. And now this thing cuts you off at an hour. If I could type his freaking thing in there. There we go.
Well, yeah, Turbo can talk about a lot of things.
What's that?
The Turbo can talk about a lot of things.
Yes, Turbo's got lots on his mind.
I'll do a little plug for this. So this is Turbo's new little fan run capacitor. So literally, it is you can do a 2.5 to all the way a 15 micro.
Dude, you're literally reading it. I saw your eyes go to read it. You're like the Vanna White. Okay, go.
It comes with two little jumpers, and basically you just plug it in all different ways to use it multi. So, you know, literally instead of keeping a 5 microfarad, a 7.5, a 10, and a 12 in your truck, here it is. You get one.
You get one.
So, which is kind of cool. I think it's really neat that they did that. So, yeah. No, I like I say, I'm not an influencer. I'm not but I said yes to these guys, so here it is. I'm doing it.
So clearly you are an influencer. But that's what I mean, right? Like they can look at that model and I think, I mean, I don't know, but I would think that that's saving them a ton of money. Right? Because what they send you, whatever, let's pretend they send you like 6 of those for free in a t-shirt. Say, just promote us. So it costs them what? $300 or whatever those things are worth.
Yeah. So
and you promote it, and they're like, great, and it goes around the world.
I mean, it's amazing how IG has grown, because when I went to Florida, and it was the first time we had a big IG meetup, and it was at Taco's Pump Company. It was for their 100th year anniversary party. So that was where, and it was like, it was crazy. I mean, the amount of people that I met. I met Bruno from Germany, OG Plum God, just Mechanical Hub, all these people. I mean, it was tons of people from everywhere. I mean, I met people from France and Puerto Rico. I mean, it was crazy. And so that was the place that we met up. And the interesting thing, just, from a few years back, how these bigger corporations really didn't understand Instagram. They had no clue what it was.
Yeah.
But the way I've been seeing it grow, that, like you said, just one person can promote this like nothing. So the biggest interest. So you know who Bruno is in
Absolutely, yeah.
Me and him. So when we were at Rem's, I was at Rem's booth with my King of 10. Literally, I couldn't leave for 2 hours from their booth, because that's where everybody kept finding me and taking pictures with me.
Yeah.
And it was insane. So later,
you're famous, man.
two guys come up to me and they're like, "Hey, we just want to thank you." And I went, "Okay, for what? What did I do?" He goes, "Do you know how many followers we got on our page from you just being there?" I'm like, "Oh, you're welcome." So I mean, and it was just like Malco. So Bruno can't get the little 1/4 and 5/16 reversible magnetic bit. They at that time they weren't in Germany. They were just in the process of getting them there.
That must be the only tool he can't get.
Probably. Well, I'm sure. Here's the thing. So literally, how he takes his phone and he does a little video like this as I'm talking to the reps, and I said, "You want to get your stuff promoted in Germany? That's the guy you want to hook up with."
Yeah.
So in the 10 minutes that he was over there doing that while we were talking, I pulled up his thing. I said, "Where he posted the video while we were talking?" I said, "Look how many people that are already liking this." They just went. And the guy sales rep walks over, takes a bunch of bits off and hands them to Bruno. And Bruno's like, "No, I'll pay for them." And they're like, "No, these are yours." And it was like a kid in a candy store. He was like, "Ray, look at this," But it's like, but it's amazing how the promotion has grown the bigger companies have, some of them have starting to really realize that how big a platform this is.
Yeah.
It's a, because when I got in 2013, so I've been following Bruno since 2013, and
Yeah.
so became really good friends. And it's like, but it's amazing how this has changed, and it keeps evolving and changing. I mean, there's some things that, yeah, I don't do enough stories probably or whatever. I still do just the post. It's like, you know, I'm not that influencer bending pipe and, you know, showing how pretty it looks.
Yeah. No, but that's like you say, like there's a market for all that stuff, right? I was talking to Eric, you know, and he was busting my chops on some stuff, which is not relevant. It doesn't matter. But I'm like, listen, man, there's the glamour side of things, and then there's the Real Housewives of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, the market is huge,
Yeah.
and where we take that, heaven knows where it goes. But there's a lid for every pot, if you know what I mean, where people want to see what they want to see and do what they want to do and listen to who they want to listen to. Like there's nobody that's going to be able to sort of corner that market anymore. I don't think, just the way that it's where it's going.
I mean, it's changed so much, because I mean, when I did my post, my Friday picks and everything, you know, it's like you do run out of content. You do.
Yeah.
Oh, today we're gonna like show this. Tomorrow we're gonna show.
I'm gonna throw him under the bus here because I can. Like, I was making fun of Terrence and his, like, here's how a shark bite works. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I realize you're getting paid to do that, but it's the push to fitting. Like, my grandma can do it, bro. Anyway.
I know some people, it's like, all right, I've seen enough of how many times you can do this. How many times I've seen the Rems Bender? How many times now?
Right.
You know,
If I see one more press video, I'm gonna like delete Instagram, which is an idle thread, of course. But you're like, dude, how many times do I? Like, I get it, it's fantastic, but
it's like,
show me something.
I just bought this. Oh, that's cool. Sorry, there's already been 110 other people posting videos. So here's the hat. You know, join the crowd. But I'm like, you know what? I make fun of it, but yeah, it is what it is, and it's the way the world is going, and it's the way the younger generation is. You know, I mean, you just have to embrace it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna, like, every day. Here you go.
I don't know, bro. You got that down pretty good, man. It's you're getting it full frame. You got your face in there. Like, you look like you've been practicing that in the mirror.
Mike HVAC reefer guy. It's like the first one I did. He calls me. He goes, "What in the hell did you get yourself in?" Oh no! He goes, "You're gonna be like me in my garage. I have all these banners and all that." I go, "Nope, not gonna happen." I said, I was nice enough to say, "Sure, I'll do it." You know, so, you know, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the banners, and, you know, that's one thing I tell people. It's like, tag 6 people, follow this or that. I don't suck up for the tools.
No.
And that's one thing I do not do. It's like, whatever. I mean, you want to send me a tool, that's great, but I don't, like, oh my God. You know, I mean, I really have the balls to, like, send me this. What? You know?
No, it
I mean, that's just
happens all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, go buy it. Go buy it.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. But yeah, like I say, for all the years that I've been doing this and you've been doing it, it's, you know, yeah, the stories and the things that we've seen, done, and you just keep going, and you're like, really? Seriously? Wow. It's a lot of history, you know? But,
it's an amazing history, really, when you look at it. And I suspect you're the same as me. It's being able to sort of watch that and participate in that over the last 30, 40 years, whatever that's been, to go from just, for lack of a better word, just rudimentary to just some incredibly high-tech stuff that, has some questionable reliability and serviceability, but it's still very cool just to sort of watch that unfold. And I think it'll continue to be interesting to watch that unfold.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it is kind of cool with this type of platform. It's like, how I do commend some of the people on here. It's like, they actually take the time and like explain things and stuff to teach the younger generation. You know, I mean, okay, I've already done it, so I don't need to like sit and press
Yeah.
and make bends and show you, hey, I did this. You know how many freaking times I did pipe threading and all this other. I've done it. But and that's cool that some do that. Like I won whatever it was some soldering class or whatever, and it's like I just told the dude, I go, I don't need to do it. They said, here, give it. I'm giving it away. It's kind of like what like I picked somebody, and here's they sent me. This is a shirt I got a long time ago, but they sent me a shirt and a hat, and all this stuff, and I just said, you don't need to tag anybody. You don't need to do this. I'm just going to pick somebody, and you're going to get it. So, and I picked somebody, get a nice stuff of global stuff, that they sent me because, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like that way. It's here, some people like it. So,
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome. The fact that you and I are talking, whatever it is, 4,000 miles apart, in whatever it must be 6 o'clock down there. 6 o'clock.
No, I.
Oh, you're only an hour ahead of me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I had to look at. I got a big giant clock here on my deck, and and then I'm like, oh yeah, I do have my watch on, dumbass.
You're just giving everybody the profile view. I get it. It's like the Van White thing. You got to see all sides.
Yeah, see all the. Grow a beard though. Yeah.
Have you tried to grow a beard? I didn't think I could grow a beard either until I decided to try and grow one.
Yeah, I did. And I look like a Santa Claus, and no, the beards aren't for me. My dad had a beard all, forever. Out of the Air Force, and yeah, he grew a beard, and he had it all the way up till he died. So, but yeah, I look just like him if I had it. Yeah, I'll see it. I think I have a picture. It was about halfway down to here. I'll have to see where it is, and I'll send you that one. Yeah,
there we go. Send it to me and I'll post it to the whole world. That's how that goes.
No, don't send that to somebody because it's going to get out there,
That's right. As soon as it hits the internet, man, it becomes public property, and there's no pulling it back in, man. There's no pulling it back in.
Yeah.
All right. Any advice for the young whippersnappers out there?
I'll just keep bending pipe and pressing fittings, man. But here's my question. I want to know what the longevity of how you think, what your feelings are. So I know RLS has, for refrigeration, but how long is that fitting going to actually last? That press?
I don't know. Like, I agree with you. I was like, when press first came out, I thought the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I'll use it in like super, sensitive situations where I don't want to I don't want to solder it. And so I used it super sparingly for a decade or more. And that was my worry about what's the longevity of this thing? Am I going to have to replace this?
Yeah.
And I will be perfectly honest with you. I have never replaced a fitting due to its failure. Much along the same lines as I've never replaced a solder fitting, due to its failure. Either it's got a pinhole in it, or it was a bad solder job to begin with, or it's in a corrosive environment, whatever the case may be, right? The interesting thing is the pressures of those systems are so much higher than what we deal with in plumbing, right? Like in the plumbing world, 80 psi is insane. Like that's from water, and we deal with a 5-pound gas system. That's extreme. Like that'll gas half a neighborhood almost, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're dealing with hundreds of pounds of pressure.
It can be up to well over 300 pounds on a system.
Yeah.
On the high. It's like that's a lot of pressure. Yeah. I mean, when we test. When we test the system, we're putting 300 pounds of nitrogen on the system to test it before we release everything. So we know, and we leave it on there for a while. And it's like, I know a lot of guys don't do that, But it's like that's one staple that we go through a lot of nitrogen. So, but yeah, I was just kind of curious what your thoughts were, because it's like I'm not trying to say I don't trust it, but what's the longevity of it?
Yeah. And again, I mean, I guess that's the time. That's an answer for the future. Um, that nobody really knows, because you know as well as I do that lots of those manufacturers will say just about anything to sell their product.
And,
Um, and some of it's true, and some of it's absolutely not true.
have gravity furnaces from 1940, and it has black iron gas piping. It's never been,
Right.
you know.
Right. And is that I guess to answer that question as truthfully as I can, that is not the model anymore. Like,
No.
like you're when you install a system, you don't expect it to last
No.
80 years. Like, you just don't. You're like, listen, if I if I can get out of my career without dealing with it, then it's a win. You know what I mean? And what is however long a career is?
Yeah.
Is it like yours? Is it a 40-year long career? Is it a 30-year, 20, 10? I don't know what. Lots of people, as you know, lots of those new construction guys, as long as I cover the warranty for the year, I don't give a rip. Right?
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm out, I don't care.
Oh.
Type of thing.
Where I just kind of wonder, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I think the oldest gravity client we have, I think hers is from 1943.
Right?
1940.
And
that's nuts.
It's crazy. Well, and you can even look at the first hot water tanks. Like, we pulled out hot water tanks that are 55 years old that are still working, but the homeowner's paranoid about it, so we replace it. And then 5 years later, I'm back in their home replacing it.
Yep.
Not under warranty. Right? So you're like, okay, well, clearly there's been, some devaluation in which I understand, the material process, the manufacturing process, to keep things price sensitive. But
yeah, because most of the brands say China, like, this is American made, but that's the problem,
You're right.
And
I do think that with whatever's happening in sort of the geopolitical world, that's going to shift. As, like, I do think manufacturing is going to come back home to North America as China starts flexing the muscles and whatever that looks like, and Russia's doing the same. But you don't have the same sort of supply chain security that we had, in the 80s or the 90s type of thing.
Yeah, because a lot of our parts, I mean, honestly, when they came from Mexico, we didn't have the issues we do now. I mean, when you see from Indonesia, other different third world countries, it's like, surprisingly, when all the stuff was coming from, not bad. So
yeah,
well,
and that's very well where it could I think it could end up is back sort of what what our North America has done. I forget what they call it now. They got rid of free trade. They call it something else. The Mexican or something agreement that those three wingnuts all got together and signed. Anyway, I do think that the States and Mexico and Canada will sort of work together to amalgamate their resources to keep our little engine running as smoothly as it can. There'll be some hiccups for sure, but
no, I think the younger generation. I mean, there's some really good installers out there, and like I say, in light of it, you got to learn how to do service, because that's always there.
That's where the money is, as far as I'm concerned.
You get paid
is being able to service that stuff.
For this.
Well, I think you would agree. It's far more satisfying for me to solve a problem than just to replace something. There you go. There's your new light bulb. Well, why don't we find out why the light bulb broke? Let's do a little bit of digging, find out blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is why we fixed it. You'll never have that problem again while I'm on the earth, type of thing, right?
Like having that problem with the ADP coils. It's like, well, here's what I can do to fix it. But why do I have to come up with a solution? Because basically I would make a diverter shield that went from the pan all the way up, so any drips would be going back into the pan. Well,
Yeah.
you need to like get your tubes inside your pan.
Yeah, but that's an easy problem to solve. Look at there's Danny, the doll valve man. He never left Canada, apparently.
The left.
But where do you get your materials from, man? That's what I want to know.
Hey, where'd you go? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but no, it's an interesting. But yeah, the younger generation, it's like, yeah, you can install and bend pipe and press fittings all you want, but you got to learn how to fix that damn stuff.
Yeah. That's where I've said it 10 times. That's where you'll make your money, because in most installations, certainly in residential, and even with the way that commercial buildings going these days, like, a monkey could put it together. You know what I mean? If you can read a blueprint, then it goes in, and then you don't turn it on and you leave, right?
Tenor, it's like he gets it all designed by the architect, which they're all idiots in my book. And
yes, they are.
I
100% agree with you on that one.
Like, but then you get the commercial guy that he goes off in a print. But I had one where he came from commercial and he came to residential, and I said, "Oh, go do this." He couldn't do ductwork. It's like, what? You've been, because he just looks at a print and, oh, it's all it got shipped on a pallet of everything. Oh, pipe go here, pipe A has to go there.
It really is, in my estimation. It's like putting Lego together. Like you get that, you get that Millennium Falcon that's 10,000 pieces, and all you do is you spend 3 days looking at the manual, clip. This red little clip goes on that yellow little clip. It clips to that black thing. And you don't even know what you're doing until the last 4 maneuvers where you squish it all together. You're like, oh, yeah, it's the Millennium Falcon. It's gorgeous.
I think the funniest one for a commercial job that I did, and the architect was an idiot. And so it came idiots out there. And so it came to the common area, and I'm like looking at the print, and I'm looking at the design of this common area, and I'm going, it's all vaulted. Well, tell me where I'm supposed to put ductwork in a vaulted common room area. So I drew it all out on the floor with chalk. We chalked it out on the floor, and they were having the architect and the owners and all this of this building come and walking through, and they came through the common area, and I go, oh, this is going to be good. And I go, hey, I really need to ask you guys and show you something. I have a very big concern. And they're like, yeah, sure, what's wrong? And I go, okay, we're standing here in the common area, and I said, see this drawing of all this square box coming here and going there? I said, this is supposed to be the ductwork that's supposed to go up here. Where's it going to go? The owner looked at me and he goes, huh, so we have floating ductwork, huh?
Yep, floating ductwork. It's just going to suspend itself.
Yep. So what they ended up having to do is what I said, we had to basically box in the supply, seal the supply duct, and make an air chamber around the supply duct and use that as the return duct. That's what we had to do.
That's what you...
Like I said, architects are idiots. And it's like, I'm not saying I can design anything better, but it's like, you really need to look at what you're,
Yeah. Well, it's what they went to school for, right? Like you should be able to, if I show up on a job and I don't know how to do something, like, why are you here? Like, why are we paying you to be here? Well, because I'm this. Well, clearly you're not. I mean, you might say that on your business card, but can you translate that into real life? No.
We just had a big remodel, and that was the whole issue. I told the contractor, I said, he bought lunch for everybody that was there, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And so the one guy looks at me and he goes, so why don't you like this system? I said, well, your architect's an idiot. I said, I'm not a fan of downflow furnaces. I said, for the simple fact you have issues with downflow applications. I said, I've done and dealt with these. And of course, ADP coil leaking through a ceiling. I said, this is an example. It's like, well, I said, what do you'd have to literally put a pan in the ceiling with another system to drain for anything to come out. And I go, if you don't have the room, you can't do it. And so some people just, their designs are just idiots. I'm just like, yeah.
So we've talked about rubber rooms, had a quick discussion about bonded rooms. We obviously got your turbo capacitor in there. Yeah, you're all set. Nice. And I think it's a perfect ending that architects are idiots.
Yeah, I got to make sure I put the shirt on.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Out and proud. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you coming on and spending like an hour and a half with me shooting the shit.
We could probably talk about a lot more stuff, but yeah, we don't want to make the younger generation kind of go, Jesus, what the heck? You know?
That's right. There's a lot of guys rolling their eyes right now. There's like 100. There's 100 and whatever it is. 113 years of
Yeah.
trade experience on this and you guys are all missing it, man. You're all playing Xbox or I don't know what you're doing.
Doing this, they're like, what? What? I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it a long time. I'm not saying I know how to do everything, but I've been doing a lot of it in a long time. So.
No, you're right. I can't do everything, but I can figure out anything. Is my response to most of it, right?
Yeah. It's one of those mentalities in life. You just kind of like, okay, yep, I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, start throwing parts to replace it. Find the solution to see what's going on. Just like that gas shutoff. I was willing to listen to the parents about their 6-year-old son of autistic. Well, let's come up. Oh, it was a great solution. You know, and when it's down, you can barely see it, and it's so cool. And they're like, "Oh, we love it." You know, and the people that that do all these places, they brought that and they said, "Yeah, we're going to incorporate this into a lot more, usages." So, but yeah, it's kind of cool. So, but you just got to come up with a solution sometimes. So,
Yeah. No, that's what it's about. Like you say, looking at a problem, a unique problem, coming up with a unique solution to that, and doing it that's effective and efficient, and that your customers can pay for, frankly.
Right. That's the whole idea. So, but yeah, the young are doing a great job out there. They're bending pipe and pressing, man. They're doing great. They're awesome.
You heard it from the old man himself. You guys are doing great. Keep bending and pressing those fittings all day long, man. You got a bright future ahead of you.
Yeah, I have to embrace it because it's like my guys. It's like this is what we do. It's like okay, not saying good, but it's like I know how things work. So
yeah. No, that's super awesome. I've got some chickens to feed and some goats to attend to. You have some chickens too, don't you?
I can't have chickens.
No chickens?
I can't have chickens. So literally, there's 37 acres back here of just woods, and I can't have chickens. In the city limits, I cannot have.
We could do a whole another 2 hours on government interference, couldn't we?
I'm pure blood too, still. So I'm a pure blood. Yeah.
I will say this about the purebuds. There are an astonishing number of tradesmen, particularly self-employed tradesmen, that didn't fall for the con. I don't know what else to call it. Every day more information comes out that you're like, everybody got conned on this thing. And I don't know anybody that's glad that they took it. That's not fair. There's a few people that are glad that they took it, but those numbers are dwindling fast.
Yeah. No, I know. No, it's it was an interesting time, but we didn't slow down. We
didn't either.
We had to keep working through. We had some people literally would go, "You go in here and I'm going to go sit out in my car." Sure. Do whatever you want. But doors open. And then people so it got to the point people just like, just get in here and fix my stuff. I need heat. Get in here and fix it.
Yeah. No, my favorite line lots of people would ask when we come to the door, I'm like, "You're vaccinated, right?" And I would literally just say, "How could I not be?" And they'd be like, "Great, come on in." I'm like, "Great." Like what? Like what are you gonna do? Like have a big fight about politics right there on the doorstep, or do you want your stuff fixed?
No, I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all we said. You know, because my son can't get it because he has to take actually blunt thinners, but yeah, he can't get it. So it would
Yeah.
actually if he did, you know. So, but yeah, it's you know, because that's why when he went to Japan for, you know, it's like he was like, I said, you better make sure that you don't need it because you can't get this thing because it'll kill you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's I like you said, it's dwindling the people that are regretting it's like what they did in life. So
Yeah. That'll be an interesting story that plays out over the next 4 or 5 years as more and more of that banana stuff gets released, and you're like, yeah, it was literally all just a big con job
yeah, it's
to make so that the pharmaceutical companies can make billions and billions of dollars.
yep, yeah, that could be another subject on a whole nother page.
That's right. All right, we're cutting it off before we go too far down the rabbit hole, but we will do it again, my man.
I'd be more than happy to do it. So
All right.
all right.
Look after yourself. Sayonara to everybody. Thanks for coming on. Until next time, out. Thanks, buddy.